What if I told you that the most powerful weapon against those who look down on you is not your words, your actions, or even your success, but your silence? Yes, silence. Not the kind that comes from fear or retreat, but the kind that emanates from wisdom, self-control, and unshakable inner strength. In today's video, we're going to explore 5 silent attitudes inspired by Stoicism that can completely transform how you handle those who despise or disrespect you. These aren't just theoretical ideas. They're practical tools that you can start using today to command respect, build confidence, and stay unbothered by negativity. But wait, this isn't about revenge or making someone feel small. It's about rising above the noise, staying true to your values, and mastering the art of silent power. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to deal with criticism, negativity, or disrespect without saying a single word. And yet, you'll speak volumes. We'll dive into the Stoic mindset that turns disrespect into a stepping stone. How to use patience and self-restraint to outshine anyone trying to pull you down. The subtle gestures that show strength louder than any argument ever could. And how silence can protect your peace while gaining you respect. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just another how-to guide. This is a blueprint for mastering life's toughest interactions while staying calm, collected, and true to yourself. Let's get started. 1. The secret power of silence. How it shatters despise. Imagine walking into a room full of people and someone's eyes linger on you, not with admiration, but with disdain. Their words may not come out, but their expressions, gestures, or actions say it all. It's tempting to respond, isn't it? To say something clever, to argue back, or to defend yourself. But what if the strongest response isn't what you say, but what you don't say? This is where the power of silence steps in, not as weakness, but as a profound display of strength. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the presence of control. In a world where everyone is eager to voice their opinions, defend their egos, or retaliate against criticism, the ability to remain silent sets you apart. It's a subtle declaration that you are unshaken, unbothered, and far above the petty attempts to pull you down. Silence isn't just an action, it's a statement, and often it's louder than any words you could speak. When someone despises you, they expect a reaction. Their goal is to disturb your peace, to drag you into their chaos, and to see you crumble. Responding to such negativity often validates their behavior. But when you meet their hostility with silence, something incredible happens. You take away their power. They're left with nothing to grasp, no words to twist, and no emotions to exploit. Instead, your silence forces them to face their own insecurities and weaknesses. Silence also creates mystery. It keeps people guessing, wondering what you're thinking or planning. This air of unpredictability can be unsettling to those who despise you, as they lose control of the narrative they're trying to create about you. It's not about manipulation, it's about preserving your peace and refusing to let someone else dictate your emotions or actions. But silence isn't easy. It requires discipline and self-awareness. When someone disrespects you, your ego screams for validation. You want to prove them wrong, to defend your worth, or to win the argument. Yet true strength lies in resisting this impulse. Silence isn't about suppression. It's about transcendence. It's about choosing your battles wisely and understanding that not every provocation deserves your energy. There's also an incredible psychological aspect to silence. When someone confronts you with negativity and you remain composed, It disrupts their expectations. They may feel confused, frustrated, or even embarrassed by their own behavior. Over time, this approach can shift the dynamics of your interactions as people realize that their attempts to provoke you are futile. Your silence speaks volumes about your maturity, confidence, and inner peace. Moreover, silence isn't passive, it's active. It requires focus, strength, and a deep sense of self-worth. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about addressing it in a way that aligns with your values. Silence doesn't mean ignoring the problem. It means refusing to engage on a level that compromises your dignity. It's about standing firm in your truth without the need for external validation. This approach has roots in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that we cannot control how others behave, but we can control how we respond. They emphasized the importance of maintaining inner calm in the face of adversity. By staying silent, you are practicing this principle. You're choosing reason over emotion, strength over impulse, and peace over chaos. In a world that often mistakes loudness for power, silence is a revolutionary act. It's a reminder that you don't have to shout to be heard or fight to prove your worth. Your silence can be your armor, your shield against negativity, and your statement of resilience. It's a way of saying, I know my value, and I refuse to let your opinion define me. Ultimately, silence is about reclaiming your power. It's about protecting your peace, preserving your energy, and prioritizing your well-being. It's about understanding that you are not obligated to explain yourself to those who are determined to misunderstand you. When you embrace the power of silence, you are choosing to live on your own terms, free from the need for approval or validation. So the next time you face someone who despises you, remember this. Silence is not a sign of surrender. It's a sign of mastery. It's a reflection of your inner strength, your confidence, and your unwavering commitment to staying true to yourself. Let your silence speak, and watch as it shatters the despise directed at you. In the end, your peace is far too precious to be disturbed by the noise of negativity. 2. Stoic strategies to win without saying a word. In the realm of confrontation, where words often serve as weapons, silence becomes an unexpected yet powerful strategy. Imagine a heated exchange where accusations fly and tempers rise. Most people feel compelled to respond, to defend, to counterattack. But a Stoic knows better. Winning doesn't always mean speaking. Sometimes it's about knowing when to stay silent and let your actions or mere presence do the talking. Silence, for the Stoic, is not the absence of action, but the height of wisdom. It's a deliberate choice to rise above petty arguments and emotional outbursts. While others might scramble to assert dominance or prove a point, the Stoic holds their ground, unshaken, embodying the virtue of temperance. This restraint doesn't just protect your peace, it shifts the balance of power entirely. When faced with hostility or criticism, the typical reaction is to argue back. But in doing so, you often grant the other person more importance than they deserve. Your silence, however, flips the script. It leaves your opponent grappling with their own words, questioning their motives, and sometimes their own insecurities. It's disarming. It's powerful. Stoicism teaches us that not everything demands a response. A Stoic remains rooted in reason, understanding that external events or others' opinions are beyond their control. What they can control is their reaction, or lack thereof. This detachment isn't apathy, it's strength. It's the ability to stay focused on what truly matters, letting go of trivial distractions. Silence also speaks volumes. It communicates a calm confidence that no amount of words can match. When you refuse to engage in verbal sparring, you demonstrate that you're operating on a higher plane, one where dignity and self-respect take precedence over ego. This quiet confidence often leaves a lasting impression, earning respect even from those who sought to challenge you. Moreover, silence cultivates self-mastery. It allows you to pause, reflect, and choose your next step wisely. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond intentionally, or not at all. This deliberate approach not only diffuses tension, but also ensures that you remain true to your principles. After all, a Stoic's goal is not to win in the conventional sense, but to live virtuously and in harmony with their values. The beauty of this strategy lies in its simplicity. You don't need clever comebacks or long explanations. Your silence does the work for you, revealing a depth of character that words often fail to convey. It's a reminder that sometimes the loudest message is delivered without uttering a single word. By embracing the Stoic art of silence, you protect your inner tranquility while navigating conflicts with grace and composure. It's a timeless lesson in strength, humility, and the quiet power of self-control. In a world that often confuses noise with influence, silence remains the ultimate expression of wisdom and resilience. 3. Silent attitudes that speak louder than words. In a world where everyone seems to have something to say, silence has become a rare and powerful force. The way we carry ourselves in silence can often speak volumes, more than any words ever could. While many believe that speaking up is the only way to make an impact, Stoicism teaches us that there is strength in restraint, power in poise, and wisdom in choosing silence when it matters most. Silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's a powerful tool that communicates strength, confidence, and self-control. When faced with conflict or criticism, a person who remains calm and silent often appears more powerful than someone who raises their voice. This attitude of silent strength, the refusal to react impulsively, creates a sense of respect and authority. The silence says, I don't need to prove myself with words because my presence and my actions are enough. One of the key aspects of this silent power is the ability to remain unshaken by the chaos around us. When others lash out in anger or frustration, the Stoic remains composed. This calm demeanor doesn't come from a lack of feeling, but rather from the mastery of one's emotions. A Stoic knows that reacting with anger or frustration only adds fuel to the fire. Instead, they choose to remain steady, understanding that peace within is far more valuable than being swept up in the momentary storms of others. Another silent attitude that holds immense power is the quiet confidence that stems from self-assurance. A person who is secure in their values and beliefs doesn't feel the need to defend them at every turn. Their silence in the face of challenge speaks volumes about their inner strength. It says, I know who I am, and I don't need your validation. This kind of confidence is magnetic. It draws respect from others who recognize the solid foundation on which the person stands. Additionally, silence in the form of deep reflection can also speak louder than words. When you choose to take a step back, to observe before reacting, you demonstrate wisdom. In a world where many people are quick to jump into conversations or arguments, taking the time to think and reflect before speaking shows maturity and thoughtfulness. This type of silence reveals a person who values clarity over haste and who believes in making decisions that are measured and meaningful. Silent attitudes can also create space for others to express themselves. By choosing not to dominate a conversation or situation with your own voice, you allow others to feel heard and understood. This creates an atmosphere of respect and consideration, and it often leads to deeper, more meaningful connections. The act of listening, truly listening, is a powerful form of silent communication that builds trust and rapport. Finally, silence can also be a form of protection. It's not just about avoiding conflict, but about safeguarding your energy and peace of mind. By remaining silent in situations that don't deserve your attention, you protect your emotional and mental well-being. This ability to withdraw when necessary, to not engage in every battle, allows you to conserve your strength for the things that truly matter. In a world full of noise, these silent attitudes speak volumes. They tell others that you are in control, that you are wise, and that you understand the power of choosing when and how to engage. By practicing silence, you cultivate a deep sense of inner peace, confidence, and respect, both for yourself and others. And sometimes, this silent strength can be the most powerful way to win. Not through words, but through presence. By approaching criticism with a mindset of growth, the Stoic transforms a potentially negative experience into a chance to become better, stronger, and wiser. A key Stoic practice in handling criticism is the art of detachment. It's easy to take criticism personally, especially when it feels harsh or unfair. However, the Stoic doesn't attach their sense of self-worth to the opinions of others. They understand that they are not defined by what others think of them, and that their worth comes from their actions, values, and integrity. By practicing detachment, the Stoic can view criticism objectively, allowing them to process it without becoming emotionally entangled in it. Moreover, silence can be a powerful tool when handling criticism. In many cases, responding immediately in defense of oneself only escalates the situation and leads to further conflict. A Stoic understands that responding to criticism impulsively often clouds judgment and strengthens negative emotions. Instead, they take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose their words carefully. Silence in this context doesn't mean weakness. It's a deliberate act of self-control. It allows the Stoic to regain composure, avoid saying something they might regret, and respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Finally, embracing humility is essential when dealing with criticism. The Stoic mindset encourages us to acknowledge that we are always in a state of learning and growth. There is no shame in making mistakes, and we can always strive to improve. Rather than becoming defensive or arrogant, a Stoic embraces criticism as part of their journey toward self-improvement. By humbling ourselves and recognizing that we are not perfect, we can use criticism as a stepping stone to personal growth and development. Criticism, when approached with Stoic grace, becomes an opportunity rather than a setback. By detaching our sense of self-worth from external opinions, focusing on what we can control, and using criticism as a tool for growth, we transform these challenges into moments of strength and wisdom. The Stoic doesn't shy away from criticism. They embrace it, learn from it, and use it to become the best version of themselves. Through grace, silence, and self-reflection, they show us how to handle even the harshest words with dignity and resilience. 5. Master the art of silent revenge with wisdom. Revenge is often seen as an instinctive reaction to being wronged, a desire to restore balance by making the other person feel the pain they caused. However, in the Stoic tradition, revenge is a path that ultimately harms the individual who seeks it, not the one who is targeted. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies not in seeking revenge, but in mastering our emotions and responding with wisdom, grace, and, most importantly, silence. Silent revenge, as understood in Stoicism, is not about passive-aggressively plotting a response or waiting for an opportunity to get even. Rather, it is about showing restraint and emotional control, refusing to let the actions of others disturb our inner peace. When someone wrongs us, the typical reaction might be to lash out, to retaliate in a way that lets them know we've been hurt. However, the Stoic approach teaches us that these emotional reactions only serve to drag us down and keep us entangled in negativity. Instead of responding impulsively, a Stoic practices silence and reflection. In the face of an injustice, they don't immediately seek to hurt the other person. Instead, they take a step back, breathe, and use the moment as an opportunity to understand their emotions and decide the best course of action. This silence is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful demonstration of self-control and wisdom. It's an acknowledgement that we are in charge of our reactions, not the person who has wronged us. By choosing silence, we also avoid the trap of lowering ourselves to the level of the person who has hurt us. Often, when we respond with anger or spite, we only confirm the negative feelings we're experiencing, allowing the other person's behavior to define how we react. However, when we respond with wisdom and restraint, we maintain our dignity and personal integrity. This silent form of revenge allows us to rise above the situation, showing that we cannot be easily moved by external forces or the ill intentions of others. The true power of silent revenge lies in the idea that time often serves as a natural justice. When someone wrongs us, the Stoic mindset recognizes that the universe has its way of addressing imbalance. The wrongdoer will often face the consequences of their actions in ways that are beyond our control or even awareness. By choosing to remain silent and composed, we let the universe take its course, knowing that their actions will eventually catch up with them. Moreover, silence gives us the space to reflect on whether revenge is truly necessary or beneficial. In some cases, the desire for revenge is rooted in the need for validation or to prove a point. However, a Stoic understands that we don't need to prove anything to anyone. Our actions and integrity should speak for themselves. By mastering silent revenge, we take the higher road and choose not to let bitterness cloud our judgment. Instead of seeking revenge, we choose growth, understanding, and emotional clarity, all of which serve to elevate us rather than diminish us. Mastering the art of silent revenge is not about waiting for the perfect moment to strike back, but about transcending the need for retaliation altogether. It's a form of empowerment that frees us from the cycle of hurt and anger. Through silence and wisdom, we regain control over our emotions and actions, and in doing so, we let go of the destructive power that revenge has over us. By practicing this silent strength, we show that our peace and happiness are not dependent on the actions of others, but on how we choose to respond to them. Through this calm, reflective approach, we demonstrate a mastery of self-control that goes far beyond any fleeting moment of revenge. Number 6. Stoicism's Guide to Quiet Strength and Inner Power. In a world where loud voices and bold actions often seem to dominate, Stoicism teaches us that true strength is not found in noise, but in silence. Quiet strength and inner power are at the heart of Stoic philosophy, showing us that emotional control, wisdom, and resilience are the foundations of a strong character. This strength isn't about asserting dominance or making ourselves heard above the crowd, but rather about mastering our emotions, staying grounded in our values, and acting with purpose. The Stoics believed that the greatest power lies within us, not in external circumstances. While we can't control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. This quiet strength is about being unshaken by the unpredictable nature of life. When faced with challenges, a Stoic's first reaction is not to react emotionally or impulsively. Instead, they pause, reflect, and choose their response carefully. This process is not a sign of weakness, but of true inner power. The ability to remain composed and focused regardless of the situation. One of the key components of Stoic strength is the ability to detach from external events and judgments. People may criticize us, life may present obstacles, but none of these things have the power to disrupt our inner peace unless we allow them to. Stoicism teaches that our happiness and well-being are not dependent on other people's opinions or on our external achievements. This internal locus of control is what makes Stoic strength so powerful. It's a quiet form of power because it doesn't seek validation from the outside world. Instead, a Stoic strength comes from their understanding of what is within their control. They recognize that we cannot change the past or predict the future, but we can control how we approach each moment. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, we build an inner fortitude that cannot be easily shaken. This quiet strength is not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them and choosing not to be ruled by them. Instead of letting anger or frustration dictate our actions, we take a moment to reflect, understand the root of our emotions, and decide how best to respond. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us that true power comes from accepting what we cannot change. Life is full of uncertainties, and Stoics embrace this truth. Rather than fighting against the inevitable, they focus on adapting to it with grace and resilience. Through acceptance, we find freedom from the stress and anxiety that often accompany trying to control the uncontrollable. Quiet strength in Stoicism also involves recognizing the fleeting nature of life. By understanding the impermanence of all things, we are able to live with a sense of urgency and purpose, yet without attachment. This perspective allows us to face challenges with courage, knowing that nothing lasts forever, not our struggles, nor our successes. This insight enables us to maintain perspective and keep moving forward, regardless of the setbacks or triumphs we encounter along the way. In a noisy world that often values outward success and loud expressions of power, Stoicism's guide to quiet strength teaches us that the most enduring and transformative power is the one that comes from within. It's the power to remain calm in the face of adversity, to act with purpose even when no one is watching, and to lead a life driven by values, not by external validation. This inner power is not flashy or attention-seeking, but it is profoundly resilient and deeply rooted in wisdom. It's the kind of strength that comes from knowing who you are. 7. Why silence is the ultimate weapon against negativity. In a world that often feels overwhelmed by noise, whether it's the constant chatter on social media, the opinions of others, or the inner thoughts that never seem to stop, silence becomes a powerful and often overlooked weapon. The Stoics believed that silence isn't just the absence of sound, but a potent tool for cultivating peace, wisdom, and resilience. It allows us to block out the negativity that surrounds us and create space for clarity and thoughtful action. When we encounter negativity, whether it comes from external sources like criticism or from our own inner doubts, our natural tendency is to react. We might feel the urge to defend ourselves, argue back, or try to prove our worth. But the Stoic approach is to respond with silence. Instead of engaging with negativity, we let it pass by without allowing it to stir our emotions. This practice of silence isn't about avoidance. It's about creating a buffer between stimulus and response, giving us the time and space to act from a place of calm instead of reaction. Negativity often thrives in the chaos of conversation, where emotions run high and words are thrown around in haste. Silence, on the other hand, neutralizes this. By not reacting immediately, we take away the power that negativity has over us. The moment we choose silence, we disarm the situation. Instead of allowing negativity to dictate our emotions, we regain control. We recognize that we can't always control what others say or do, but we can control how we choose to respond. In situations where negativity is aimed at us, silence can be a powerful shield. It doesn't give the negativity more attention or validation, and it prevents us from becoming tangled in unnecessary conflicts. When someone criticizes or insults us, responding with anger or defensiveness only escalates the situation. But remaining silent shows strength. It says that we are not affected by their words and that we are above the need for validation or approval. Silence communicates self-respect and confidence, which are often more powerful than words. Moreover, silence allows us to maintain a clear mind and a calm heart. When we choose silence, we give ourselves the time to reflect on the situation and choose the best course of action. Reacting impulsively, especially in negative situations, often leads to regret. But silence enables us to think rationally, assess the situation from a distance, and respond in a way that aligns with our values. It gives us the opportunity. In the face of negativity, silence also acts as a form of self-protection. When we engage with negativity, especially when it's personal or unfounded, it can chip away at our self-esteem and peace of mind. But by remaining silent, we protect our mental and emotional well-being. We stop the cycle of negativity before it has a chance to take root in our minds. This silent resistance not only preserves our peace, but also sets a boundary, signaling to others that we won't entertain disrespect or toxic behavior. Finally, silence is not just about avoiding negativity. It's also about cultivating positivity. When we create space for silence, we allow room for more constructive thoughts and actions. Silence encourages us to listen more deeply, to be present, and to reflect on what truly matters. It enables us to rise above the noise of the world and focus on what's important: our growth, our values, and our pursuit of inner peace. In this way, silence becomes the ultimate weapon against negativity, allowing us to create a life that is rooted in wisdom, clarity, and self-control. By mastering the power of silence, we stop allowing external negativity to define us. We learn to control our reactions, protect our peace, and focus on what we can control: our own responses, our own growth, and our own happiness. In a world that thrives on noise and conflict, silence becomes the ultimate tool for navigating life with grace and strength. 8. Winning battles without fighting. The Stoic way. In a world where conflict is often seen as inevitable, and fighting is the first instinct when faced with adversity, the Stoic approach offers a different path, one that leads to victory without lifting a finger in aggression. The Stoics teach us that true strength doesn't lie in winning battles through force, but in winning by mastering ourselves, our emotions, and our responses. This philosophy encourages us to rise above petty arguments and to navigate challenges with composure, strategy, and inner peace. The essence of winning without fighting lies in the concept of detachment. Instead of becoming entangled in external struggles or disputes, we focus on what we can control, our internal state. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus emphasize that while we cannot always control the actions of others, we can control how we react to them. By choosing not to engage in conflict, we remove ourselves from. Imagine a situation where you're faced with a harsh critic or an unjust situation. The natural human response might be to argue, defend yourself, or retaliate. However, the Stoic approach is to remain silent and composed. Instead of engaging in the battle of words or actions, you choose to step back, assess the situation, and control your reaction. By doing so, you win the battle. Not by defeating the other person, but by maintaining your peace and refusing to let their negativity affect you. One of the most profound aspects of Stoic wisdom is the ability to rise above the chaos of the world and maintain a sense of serenity. By focusing on our own actions and reactions, we can navigate through difficult situations without becoming entangled in the negativity or conflict around us. In this way, we transform the situation into an opportunity for growth, rather than a battle to be won. In relationships, whether personal or professional, this Stoic strategy is equally effective. Instead of being dragged into arguments or power struggles, you can choose to act with dignity and wisdom. A person who is able to remain calm in the face of tension, who doesn't react impulsively or defensively, is seen as strong, not weak. Their ability to stay centered and respond thoughtfully, rather than react emotionally, is what makes them truly powerful. The idea of winning without fighting also extends to our mindset. We often fight invisible battles within ourselves, struggling against fear, doubt, and insecurity. Stoicism teaches us that these internal battles can also be won without fighting. By accepting our imperfections, embracing what is in our control, and focusing on the present moment, we can achieve a sense of peace and fulfillment that no external victory could provide. Stoicism encourages us to turn every situation into a learning opportunity. When we choose to disengage from unnecessary battles, we not only preserve our energy and emotional well-being, but also gain wisdom in the process. It's about recognizing that the real victories are not those that are won through domination or force,